All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get it. Man, Tony, once again, welcome.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right,
Very excited.
So let's just go get right into it, man. For our new listeners and our loyal listeners of the Wolves of Naptown podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, this is very different, you know what I'm saying? And Tony's not about to spit any bars or anything like that. I know y'all been watching here, man.
Probably could.
All right, so Tony, I want you to first tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about your foundation.
Okay. My name is Tony McCracken. I'm 37 years old, and I'm here from Indianapolis. I'm originally from Texas. We moved here at a young age to the Far East Side, Post, German Church, Shaylin. My family opened up a restaurant right there on Pendle Pike and Franklin. So that's where I'm from, Far East Side. We moved up north a little bit once my mom got a little money from the restaurant. But it started off, for me, my struggles very early. I think about 12 or 13, I was already, getting in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, I was already getting in trouble. By the time 13 or 14, I got arrested. And it just went downhill from that. Like, it wasn't a wake-up call. You would think, I don't know what happened.
Right.
I just lost control, man. I am from a single, I don't know my father. Mm-hmm. My mom raised me.
Yeah.
I'm a first American born. My mom, she migrated here from Korea, and she'd been busting and grinding her ass, and she made something of herself. So, it was a little bit hard. When she had that restaurant, she was gone from morning to night. You know what I mean? I was just left, to do whatever.
Raise yourself,
honestly,
She
Then she moved the restaurant to that Pendleton Pike and Franklin location.
Okay.
And German Church, Churchill Ranch Apartments is right there. It's connected. Mm-hmm. So I would always say that's like my second home. That's where I was raised, because I was going to the restaurant every single day. And I was going over to Churchill Ranch, hanging out, and, really start going places I shouldn't have. I had no business, trying to fit in with these guys, trying to run around, trying to be cool. And, shit just got crazy out of control, and I started using drugs, drinking, smoking, popping pills by the time I was 14. By the time I was, end of 14, 15, I went to juvenile prison, Pendleton Boys School.
Mm-hmm. And that's where we were, fortunate enough to be invited to the Butter Magazine event, and that is really where I got to see you in person.
Yes.
And you gave what I thought was a very powerful speech, up there for people. This brother right here is doing really, really good, right now in the community, doing a lot of good things here, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But I want to give you some runway to go ahead and talk about how we got here to where you're doing, this community service, community work. Because you were starting to talk about it here, your troubles, being locked up, your troubles with the law. Go ahead, tell your story, sir.
Yes,
tell
sir.
Your story.
Make it real short, we'll fast forward a little bit. I started using drugs, but when I went to juvenile prison, boys school, whatever you want to call it, it really went out of control. They need help in there. And that's actually, we'll talk about the one reason why I do what I do in my foundations. Juvenile Pendleton, you got to think, you got kids in there doing life or 10 to 20 years that they will be coming home. But they're 12 to 13 years old. About to do 20 to 30 years.
That's insane to think about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People don't really think about that. So his role models and idols and the people that are going to be raising him for the next 20, 30 years are the dope dealers, the drug dealers, the killers, and the gangbangers. You know what I mean? And they don't really got nothing going on there to help these kids. It's just like prison. They're there. You know what I mean? And I understand they made their decision, But I got out, man, and like I said, Juvenile Pendleton did not help me. It was more of a school for me. I went in there more of a partying kid. I went in there have to survive. And type of person I am, flight or run or whatever.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. I ain't a runner. So I made my time there more difficult myself. But, when I got out, man, I was lost when I got out of boys' school. I thought I had figured it out. I got out and I hit the streets. I was gangbanging, selling drugs, selling dope. And I started selling dope, and I got addicted to heroin. I got addicted to heroin about 19. I was about 19 or 20 years old.
And that's no joke. I had some, unfortunately, some classmates that have lost their life to heroin addiction.
Yeah.
So that's definitely no joke. Go ahead, continue, brother.
So before that, it was pills, and that's why I tell, these guys that hear them, pop a perk, it sounds cool and all that, but it's going to lead somewhere, maybe not for all, you know what I mean? But it's not something I'm willing to risk anymore. But It led me to heroin, and I started selling heroin, and I thought I was better than, but I was a dope fiend. You know what I mean? I was doing heroin. I eventually started shooting up heroin. I started shooting up heroin for about 3 to 4 years before that. So obviously when shit got out of control, I had a kid, and you can imagine I was in no state of mind to take care of my firstborn. But I was that dude that would always say, man, I take care of mine, how you got a fresh pair of J's on.
We talk about that all the time on the show.
And and that wasn't it. I was never there. And then, CPS got involved, and I ended up catching a case, a big case, a dope case, 3A felonies and 2B felonies, dealing trafficking. I got arrested by the Marion County and Hamilton County Joint Task Force. A friend of mine wore a wire on me, and a lot of people would be mad. I definitely, wish I didn't have to do that much time. Mm-hmm. Right. But I ended up doing 10 years. 2012 until 2020. I got out on January 14th of 2020. And another cool thing was, it was the first time I had some clean time. Because even in the joint, I was getting high.
That's crazy to think about, because you was telling that story. It was kind of like, it's just amazing that you can be locked up and still have access to some of the stuff that probably got you in there in the first place. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was a lot easier for me because, like I said, I'm ex-affiliated. I'm an ex-Latin King. And so it was a lot easier for us to get in. Obviously, we had our way, meals, whatever. We ain't gonna get into that, but so I was getting high, since the age of 13, the longest I've ever been out on the concrete, on the streets, is 9 months. It's the longest I've ever been free.
And how do you get yourself together if you go into a place like that and you pretty much are just, living good? It's just like, man, now you really get corrected. You know what I mean?
Say that question one more time. What do you mean?
It's like how you really get corrected if you're going in there and, like you said, being who you were affiliated with. You had everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just kind of like when you put in prison, you're supposed to be,
Yes.
You're supposed to be rehabilitated. It's supposed to be a punishment. But if you're having all these things, you're still able to get high. You're still able to kind of eat what you want. It's just kind of like.
And I'll hit that point. I got making sure I pay some money for a lawyer. My first plea. They weren't coming down. 55 years was my first pleas.
Damn.
I eventually got chopped down to 26 years, a cap on 12. But make it real short, like you were saying. I actually, and the reason I paid for this attorney was to get this thing called personal incarceration. It's court-ordered drug rehab in the prisons.
Okay.
But it's like their baby. So, like, if you complete this program, it's an automatic referral back to the judge. It doesn't matter if you have 1 year or 50 years. And I've seen people get out with 10 years left completing this program.
Okay.
So, you would think that's hope. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, and the program is only 1 year. So, I could have technically been out after 2 or 3 years. Getting in, waiting to get there, whatever. But no. Like I said, I was affiliated. And, my loyalty at that time, was to my brothers, to my affiliation. And that's why I am going into the prisons, working with Kairos Ministries. Shout out to them. We go into the penitentiaries, give out food and, just try to minister to them. But I'm solely aiming for, we call them futures, futuros, prospects, whatever, guys that are trying to get into gangs. And those are the guys that I'll be looking for when I go in there. You know what I mean? I'm looking for tattoos. I'm looking for certain things to see, and try to wrap it up with them. Let them know, like, it seems cool.
This isn't the lifestyle.
And honestly, it sounds crazy. This was my life for 22 years. So for some people, when I say no, but it was even fun. You know what I mean? You gotta think, I was doing the time. I wasn't going nowhere. So I made, and with them, you got to think, Billy affiliated, COs are scared, everybody's scared, you know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to, you know what I mean? And that's the last thing, no accountability. And It's just, yeah. And that's why, like I said, I try to aim for these guys and try to let them know, like, look, man, I literally lost 7 years just on this sentence. You know, I was only supposed to do about, like I said, 2-3 years if I had completed the program. I went to the program 7 times and got kicked out 7 times.
Damn. So how did you make your transition, you know what I'm saying, from all of that, you know what I'm saying, to finally staying out of prison and getting to the point to where now you're helping people?
So it actually took me to get in trouble one more time. Crazy. In the joint. So me being affiliated, I was at a certain place, and me and a couple of the people, you know, we got in trouble for certain things. And I got sent off to the SHU segregation. I ended up doing I went to the SHU August 3rd, 2018. And I didn't get released until January 15th of 2020. So I was in segregation for 2 years. And that's when I was able to sit down. You know what I mean? It was crazy. That's how wild I was. You know, God was like,
bam.
I can't get a hold of you, man. You know what I mean? I can't get a hold of you.
Sometimes God will sit your ass down.
He literally sat me down. You know what I mean? And then the crazy thing is, I got shipped and went to another facility, and I was in the segregation, and I was able to get a route. That's what they call it, like a route. I was able to get shipped back in while I was in segregation, and I started to do it. And it was shortly after that, because it wasn't easy to get in it. I was sick. I got sick off of the drugs again, and I was sitting in my cell in segregation. You know what I mean? I've already 7 years in on my sentence, and I'm back to square one. Dope, sick, in segregation.
Man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I ain't even trying to get emotional. That was a rude awakening for me at that time. And then around that time, my fiance passed away. Yeah.
While you were in?
Yeah. Like I said, I had a 3-year-old when I went in.
That's talking about awakening right there.
Yeah.
I mean, just like...
She passed away... 16 October 2016, and me being being in jail and all that, obviously seeing my son and she was having her struggles. Like I said, when I went to the joint, things weren't good. If anything, things got worse for her financially. Now they're, you know what I mean. I was hustling, and she had a drug addiction, and CPS was involved already. So when she passed away, the state took my son.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And CPS came and see me in the penitentiary, just basically telling me these are my options. And at the time, I thought the best option was obviously to get him into family's hands. So quickly, like right then and there, I signed my rights over to a certain family member, thinking that'd be the best decision, you know. At the end of the day, I don't hold him against anything. I'm not mad at him at this day, but I haven't seen my son since then.
Damn.
Even now?
Yeah, they decided
that
I wasn't fit for him.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's heartbreaking right there. That's heartbreaking.
And that's how really I got to sit down. I was like, I got to get my shit together. And I was like, what's the difference? Every time I was getting out, I was already plotting and scheming, what's the next? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, Brody, be at the spot. I'm going to be released at midnight. I'll be there at such and such time. Have this for me. I'm going to be fucked up. I'd even try to guilt my homies and be like, what, you want me to go rob somebody? Come on, bring me a pack or something.
Right.
I just never gave myself a chance. I never gave myself an opportunity or a chance, especially going in and out so much. Like I said, I've never been out more than 8-9 months at a time. So, but when I got out this time, I just knew I had to just, slow down. I just had to do what everybody was telling me I had to do. Like, when I was getting released, I was trying to go to this girl's house, you know what I mean? I just did all this time. I'm trying to get released to this girl's house. My mama was like, you could come stay with me. And I refused it at first, you know what I mean? I refused it, like, nah, hell no. I ain't about to go to my mama's house, you know what I mean? But I did. She was at the gates for me, waiting. And that was the best decision I made, was to go home. As soon as I went home, my friends, I'm talking my friends that I grew up with, crazy thing is we hit the streets together. We got addicted to drugs together, but they got clean. When I was locked up, they all got their lives together.
So you gotta have to get a community of people that knew you. Yeah. They're on the same path of trying to get clean.
Yeah, and And I ain't gonna lie, that's why I'm trying to like not get emotional. But that's what saved me. I know that's what saved me was my homies.
Hey man,
That's what's up.
sometimes, I'll give you a chance to go ahead, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's what it takes. Like in the past few episodes, we were talking about sometimes it's the people that you keep.
Yeah,
You
for
know
sure.
what I mean? And it sounds to me like once you got around people that were on the same mission, it's like, hey, we need to be clean and we need to try and fix our lives. We can help others. You know what I'm saying?
One of my
Now you
biggest
got
motto
motion.
is we gotta continue to surround ourselves with like-minded people. Like-minded
There you
shit will
go.
happen.
There
you know
you
what
go.
I mean?
There you
And that's
go.
what happened. My homies were there, man. First week out, they're picking me up, taking me like I'm a drug addict. So they're taking me AA, HACA, bro. They were there. They're taking me job interviews. One of my best friends, David Burness, he's an ex-professional fighter. And during my come up, I try to fight. I did a little fighting and here and there, trying to follow him, honestly. He got out. When I got out, he brought me to the gym. And I got back in the gym. I was training like every day, twice a day. And the coaches seen it. And they got me a job.
what's up.
Like I said, I ain't trying to keep getting emotional, but, it's just,
but
it's a good thing. I just didn't know this type of help was out there and available. You know what I mean?
Right, because you were so young when you got into the mess and you couldn't figure out who was there. But my question is, can you pinpoint the one thing that it clicked in your head to say, okay, this is something different? Because I'm hearing some stuff, but I want you to tell me, what is that one thing that you say, okay, this was the turning point?
I probably, honestly, what I got out, like I said, the coaches, shout out to Eric Board and Jason Gessler at Naptown Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Fisher's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They got me a job, a security gig at a local bar. They're like, hey, he'd be perfect for it. He just did prison time and he's got a little fighting background. Because they're looking at me like,
Right.
I ain't a big dude. And I ain't got an intimidating face. But make that short, I did that for a year. I was working in the bar scene, but that wasn't good. Because now I'm back
You're
in the
around
bar
those same
scene, so
people.
I'm partying and I'm back in the atmosphere. You gotta think it's a bar.
Yeah.
So you already know what's going on. I ain't trying to, and I was kind of getting back in the mix again, and I ended up relapsing. So I ended up relapsing while I was there. Remind you, I forgot to tell you, I'm on parole at this time. So I'm still on parole and I relapse. And I'm scared to death. I got like 16 years backup. And make it real short, I go in, I got my shit together. I didn't fail. I did fail for weed in my probation officer. This was the cool thing, man. My probation officer, instead of violating me or nothing, she was just like, I seen that you made some changes. I just, I've seen your pack. I've seen, what you're doing. She was just like, there's just no way I can violate you. There's no way I'm going to send you back to the joint.
That was a lookout, boy.
Yeah,
That was definitely a lookout.
It was a lookout. That was the turning point. That was-
really?
Yeah, that was really the turning point because I almost lost my life again. You know what I mean?
Well-
that little, drug test could have gave me 16 years back in the joint.
But I would have thought that if she gave you a break, most people would say, oh, well, she's cool. I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Yeah. Well,
how is that the turning point?
And like I said, me and being an addict, that's what I normally would have done. You know what I mean? That was her. That's back in the day. I would have been like, she just enabled me to, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I don't know. I just
Do you think
done
that-
so much and been through so much shit. And just at that time when I knew there was a chance I could go back again. Over that, I was just like, I got to get my shit together.
I can definitely see that, and especially because, weed is weed, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we know now that it's not like the harder drugs. Unfortunately, it is something that can still violate you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so doing that, I can definitely sympathize with that because it's like, damn, you put all this work into fixing yourself. All you did was smoke some weed, and now it's like, okay, it's gonna come up on a test, and I'm gonna be violated. You know what I'm saying?
And it's in Hamilton County.
And all this, Hamilton County. You know what I'm saying? And so I can definitely see that. It's like, no, you know what I'm saying? You giving that chance, no, I'm not gonna violate you on this. You're like, okay, I hear you. We're not doing this again. I got out of this one, and now it's a wrap. We got to go forward with this. And going forward with that, I want to go ahead and talk with you. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I learned about you is that you have these foundations. I see you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I see the passion, what I'm saying? I see the smiling. You got, some of the events you're getting ready to talk about, what I'm saying? Giving out free items, what I'm saying, to kids and whatnot, what I'm saying? Really trying to show that. Talk to us about that, about your foundations, man.
Okay.
And what you're doing right now,
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying, to help bring that change, that full circle for you.
Yeah. So, I went out to volunteer. This is how it started. I went to actually go help somebody and volunteer with them downtown to do some feeding and give out some stuff. And honestly, man, God touched me that day. Like, I've never been a believer. All my years, 20 years in the penitentiary, all that, I ain't never touched the Bible. And I used to think about that because I'm a recent believer now. Like, I did it all that time. I ain't never flipped. I promise you, I ain't never. And I used to think the devil had me like that. Even motherfuckers that don't want to read the Bible, pick up the Bible and read a couple pages. You know what I mean? But I ran into these kids, and I still work with these kids to this day. And they're like, they're kind of the whole reason I started the youth program of it. But I ran into these kids, man. And I just understand why were they out here at a homeless feeding. Like, they're 13, 14, 15. Like, obviously, it's not a good situation at home if you're here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they start coming. They were coming, like, the guy was doing it every Sunday or so at that time, and I kept going out to help them, and they kept coming out. So I finally, just pulled them to the side, just try to figure out what was going on, figured out their story, and they told me, a little bit. I ain't trying to tell their story, but they got it hard, man. They got it hard, obviously, if they're coming downtown to the mission and stuff. Yeah. So that's what really kind of, because I was working with adults. Like, I was working like Progress House guys, AA meetings and stuff like that, working with them, and how I was meeting more people is every Sunday we do a homeless feeding. You know what I mean? And that's how I was meeting most of these guys, and but they're the reasons why I really started working with the kids, and then made me think of my son, you know what I mean? It's like, and then made me think of me, honestly. It's like, what if, you know what I mean? I went 28 years of misery in the streets, of drug addiction, gangbanging, and all that, you know what I mean? And we're constantly trying to save the guys that afterwards, you know what I mean? So why not try to get to these kids before? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm so happy I did, and I've kind of transitioned to solely straight youth now.
Okay.
Like, I've just solely focused on the youth. Shout out to indie boxing and grappling, man. Anybody that doesn't know about fighting, but all the fighters know. This is the best gym in the state. Coach McPherson is a world-renowned coach.
Say it one more time.
Indie boxing and grappling. Coach
Indie
McPherson.
Boxing and grappling.
Yep, and Coach Damien. They're world now. One of the fighters just fought Tank Davis. 2 times.
Damn.
Not this one, the other guy. Frank Martin.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Frank Martin trained
Tank Davis, all right.
Yep. So, and that's why I think it's a big deal, because they have partnered up with me, and now they're allowing me to bring kids in my program. I don't know, about a handful, 5 to 10 a month. It doesn't matter, but they're allowing me to bring kids and train them for free. And why I chose them, because I got connections to so many gyms, but I just seen how they were with their kids. You know what I mean? Like, no bullshit. Like, kids sitting there, he's like, man, get up. You know what I mean? And that's what these, you know what I mean? That's what I needed. Some of these kids need a shove, literally, like, hey, man, get the fuck, come on. You know what I mean?
There you go, yeah.
And boxing is a great way to do that. You know what I mean? And build confidence up, and
let you get some anger and frustration out too.
Yeah,
you know
my
what I'm saying?
fiance.
In a controlled manner.
Yeah,
And
my
focus on
fiance
something.
always says that she was jealous of me, because when I get mad when I was training, I could go to the gym and spar and actually punch somebody or something. You know what I mean? It's just a good outlet. And like I said, you learn a lot of things about yourself if you commit to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I said, they've decided to partner with us and allowing us to bring kids in there. So we're trying to implement that. So, if you got a kid that's struggling with anything, reach out. We got a couple things that we could, get their mind off of, boxing training and stuff like that.
So is it just boys? Is it boys and girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take girls. Honestly, I haven't came across any.
And is that because of your organization structured mostly for boys, or
No, just
you don't specify? That's just who comes.
Yep. Because honestly, a lot of people think I work with people or something. I've been doing this, other than volunteers and people that have been helping. But I'd been slowly just doing this all on my own, based off of weekly donations. You know what I mean? If I don't get a donation, then we'll figure it out. Because I do have me and my friend Walter Dibley, we a partner. We have a street ministry called Barnabas, and that's every Sunday we give out food, jackets, wintertime blankets, hand warmers, tents. We even give out free haircuts there. Like it's about to get warm. We did it 2 weeks ago when it was really nice, but once it gets nice, we'll be out there giving out free haircuts to people. But I kind of got lost. Backtrack right there.
That's all right. But I want you to talk about, Tony, the One Day at a Time Foundation, right? You know what I'm saying? Because that's your Instagram handle. Right? One day at a time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you talked a lot about that here at the Buttered Magazine event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds to me like that's your baby, right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, tell us our listeners about that foundation.
Okay, so One Day at a Time Foundation is I'm aiming at risk youth, or like I said, my struggle started at a very, very, very young age. So, and it's 2025. You can see on the news, kids are doing heroin, crack, and meth at 14.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you're seeing on the news, getting caught doing dope. We're talking about dope. You know what I mean? In schools.
Not just weed.
Yeah, we ain't talking about weed. We talking about work. You know what I mean? Crazy shit. And so we're aiming to help these kids, especially, we know some of these families need help. Some of these people they just don't have, the resources or whatever to even take care of themselves, let alone their kids and their family. And we're just trying to extend that hand. So, like, I've been partnered with Cho, with Circle City Cuts, too. We give out free haircuts every Tuesday because of Cho and Otis at Circle City Cuts, too.
Okay.
And that's every Tuesday. And that's for anybody that needs a haircut. You know what I mean? And then I just now start partnering up with the basketball coaches. I don't know if you guys heard of Coach Major, Coach Dewey, but they're
my basketball days have been long.
they kind of big in the city, known for their basketball coaching and youth, because they kind of have a program too, and they try to give back. And we're implementing and trying to partner, and now we can have a basketball program. We're just trying to create a lot of resources for these kids, a lot of different things for them to do, because free time would kill someone. You know what I mean? It killed me. Free time killed me. Free time turned me
being active and having a goal to focus on, man. That's it.
Basketball,
that's
boxing, and then even barbering. Well, we haven't completely started yet, but it's in the works. We're talking. Me and Cho have been talking. That kids that get into this in our program, we'll offer them free barbering school.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then also I work with a guy named Ethan. He runs a program called Felonies Unite, and he's one of the biggest guys going into the prisons. He's going into every prison, and he's helping me. And we're trying to get into juvenile Pendleton right now. Like I said, that's where it started for me. And we're trying to get into juvenile Pendleton and implement these programs. Let's cross our fingers, pray that,
all right,
the opportunity does come and bless us. And if that does happen, that means I'll be working with these kids 6 months before they get released, and when they get out, I'll partner up with probation and parole, and we continue a program with them. And
that's what's up.
And if these kids start the barbering school while they're incarcerated, no ifs, ands, buts, Cho and we have decided they will get the free barbering school when they get out.
Okay.
Just incentive, because it's kids. We gotta just figure out ways to stay connected with them. You know what I mean? Kids are just all about, he ain't cool. You know what I mean? Type shit.
Man. And the kids, I'm saying, that kids are always the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and just take a moment to clap it up. I know we've been doing a lot of seriousness, man, but I want to clap it up, man, because just make sure we're good. All right. I want to clap it up because, definitely, your life had an avenue to where it could have gotten just worse and could have ended. Yeah. But you did a serious turnaround to the point that now your life, if you think about it, your life is now benefiting others who absolutely need it. Yeah. It may not have that support system, mom or dad or whatever, or maybe they have mom and dad, but they just don't know what to do. Yeah. Now you have brothers like you that are out here that are putting resources in the hands of people that need it so they can get the help. Man, clap it up for them again.
And with that, I just want to say, Ashley, real quick, and that's why I want, all the people that work with me, that's on my team, you know what I mean, the younger guys, whatever. But, man, if you've been through it, man, reach out if you want to help, because that's one thing. we need more younger guys. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm younger now. I'm 38, but just kids are more prone. Kids are more prone to listen to somebody that looks more like them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if, you know, a 60-year-old man comes to talk to this kid, or me come to talk, this kid is most likely going to talk to me because he feels like he got more things to relate. You know what I mean? So that's why we need, you know, the young men to step it up. You know what I mean? People don't realize the impact that we have on young men. You know what I mean? Like, you might have a role model that you don't even know about. I mean, somebody that's looking up to you that you don't even know
somebody
about.
looking up to me.
You know what I mean? I'm being for real. Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
I know a kid in my neighborhood, he looks up to me just because I drive a Scat Pack. You know what I mean? And he's all, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying, the little things they don't realize. And then now he's watching me. What if he start watching me selling packs or something? So now in his head, that's how he got the Scat Pack. That's how he got these J's on. That's how he looks nice. You know what I mean?
It's not that he worked hard; he's hustling.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm being for real. You might run into a kid that, you know, like I said, us flashy guys going in there. You gotta watch it because a kid likes that. You look at your chain and look you up, damn, bro, I love your J's.
And they don't understand the consequences. They only understand what they could get.
They don't even understand.
And then we got some
it.
fools, you know, these. That would be like, yeah, I'm out here, I slapped the shit out of her. You said that to a kid. But you know what I mean? But it's real. Instead of like, you know what I mean?
Right.
When I see a kid, like I'll see a kid, I see that icon, I'll pull up on, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? You like the car? You know what I mean? Just to get a conversation, be like, and I always make a point. Yeah, I got that working, bro. I got that working. You know what I mean? Especially where I'm at, you know. If I was up north, I wouldn't just jump out and be like, I went to prison, you know what I mean? But so I'll be like, you know, I got that working. I'm a felon. You know what I mean? I don't even got a GED. You know, I got a 6-figure job. You know what I mean? It's possible. And that's what we tell people, like, you guys are, bro, no, it's motivation, man.
It's motivation, right. If you want it, you can get it.
I got 20 years in the penitentiary. I got no GED. I just got my license for the first time a week ago, and I'm 38.
Damn, that's what's up.
You know what I mean?
It's out here riding dirty for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you clean out. We clean out.
But the point is, there's no excuses, basically.
There is no excuses.
People always saying background.
No, I think, and I also wanted to say that, like, just when you reach out to somebody, I always tell people behind the chair, me talking to my clients, it doesn't matter who you are. It's what you're going to do. Because I just was talking to one of my clients, and shout out again to Marcel Harris. But he was saying that he was trying to change his, you know, perspective. His main dream was to be a warehouse supervisor. And so he's kind of climbing that ladder, but he felt like he was a hypocrite for being in this environment, and he was a worker. Now he's a supervisor. So he was like, yeah, they're not trying to listen to me. And I told him, I said, listen, you ain't trying to reach everybody. All you got to do is ask one question. You know, whatever something that motivates people to think. Yeah. Motivates them to, you know, he says, well, they resist me. They always trying to argue and fight with me because they think that I'm trying to be better than them. Yeah. I said, even if you got the person who's really against you, you know, who's giving you grief every day, go in and just ask something simple and motivate it and walk away. So I said, why don't you try to say, you know, hey, bro, what do you plan on doing for the next 5 years? This is somebody who attacked you earlier about, you know, you thinking you better. What do you plan on doing for the next 5 years? Yeah. And whatever they say or don't say, don't worry about that, because once you walk away, that's still going to be motivation for them to think.
Yeah.
I said, he'll tell 3 people, I promise you. He'll tell 3 different people that you came up and asked him that question, and then he's going to think about it all night and all day. You just have to plant the seed. Yeah. And he didn't want to believe it. I said, just try it. And he'll come back in another month and he'll tell me how it went. But I already know this to be fact. Yeah. I already know it to be fact. That's just the thing. If you're willing, how can I change them? There's a whole warehouse of people. You change their mind one person at a time if you need to. Yeah. And you just ask simple question and lead by example.
And like
it's easy.
And like I said, just surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's one thing, like, especially with these young hoopers, I'm trying to tell these coaches, and most of them know because, you know, they see it, this is what they do, but this hooping shit's only a part of their day. It's only about an hour or 2 of their day. You know what I mean? They got to go back to the block. They got to go back to the streets. They got to go back, you know, to that whatever. And that's why we got to, you know what I mean?
Change their mindset.
Yeah, we got to change their mindsets and just continue, because I keep telling these kids, I got a buddy right now, man, and I'm praying for him. He's doing good, but he's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. He's still hanging out with the old brothers. He's tough, still hanging out with the same old people. You know what I mean? He's not getting high. He ain't doing no bullshit or nothing like that. But I'm like, that ain't it, bro.
Go up and ask him.
Sometimes you gotta cut ties.
Yeah, you do, but that's the same difference. You go up to him and ask him, okay, so what do you plan on doing in the next 6 months?
Yeah.
And then whatever he says, you let him talk.
Yeah.
You let him say whatever he's gonna say, and your silence is gonna be like he's really thinking about this.
In recovery,
and then walk away.
In recovery, they say, and I think that influences everything. If you're trying to make a change, you got to change people, places, and things. You have to, or it's not going to happen.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, that's what they say in the AA. You have to change people, places, and things. And that's what I did. When I got out, if I give anybody advice, that's what I did. I did isolate myself, and I didn't, man, if they reached out, I ignored it. And me, I'm such a, I'll just be honest, I'm an attention seeker type. Like, you know what I mean? I was so petty younger, you know what I mean? Until recently, last 3-4 years, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know.
I got you, brother. So this is what I want to ask before we move on from this segment. I want to give you an opportunity because you got an event that's coming up here on the 27th, right?
Yes,
April.
Sir.
Go ahead, talk about your event. Talk about how people can get involved. Where is it going to be? Go for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So April 27th, holding the first free sneaker convention. More of it's a community event. That's how I look at it. But we got vendors coming to donate shoes, clothes, and we got food vendors giving out. So we'll have free shoes, food, clothes, barbers. We'll have about a handful of barbers, handful of hairstylists, handful of nail techs, all giving out free services. We'll have Coach Major, Stunner Boy, Coach Dewey. They run basketball programs in the city. So they're going to be there. It's at Bethel Park. So they're going to be running little basketball drills and all that. And that way they can talk to the kids and the parents, let them know the benefits of training and what basketball, how it can help them, or, you know, if they want to get enrolled or whatever. And just something to do that day. You know what I mean? We're going to even have some boxing and MMA guys there, you know what I mean, with some stuff, demonstrating a little bit. And same thing, talk to the kids and the parents, let them know the benefits of training, how it can help, especially if your kid's already going through some struggles. We're going to have some live performances. We'll have guest speakers, like Brother Jamal will be there as a guest speaker. Like I said, we'll have live performances, we'll have games, and then we do have a big one-on-one tournament that we're going to do. I think we're going to do the ages between 13 and 18. And then for the kids, we'll even have a little contest. Like the younger kids will have like a horse, pig contest. Or remember, knockout, where you get the free throw line. And we're going to have a contest for them. And they'll have cash prizes and like a pair of shoes for the kids like that. And like I said, every vendor is going to be giving away clothes. Like Plenty of Ways, Slum House, Go Getters, Sneaker Plus will be there. And from the community, people have been donating because I've been asking. And so I'm going to have about like 40, 50 pairs of shoes from, I mean, we're talking about nice shoes, like Off-Whites, Balenciagas. Like the community came together, man. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a bounce house.
So pretty much this event is going to be benefiting, you know what I'm saying, like underprivileged, you know what I'm saying, people that, you know what I'm saying, maybe like I say, lack for a better phrase, maybe like food stamps or something like that. People that are just really going to need these type of resources. It's going to be there for them to come in. They'll be able to get something to eat while they're there, and maybe for, you know, their children or whatnot, or maybe even for adults, like if they need something. So if they need some new shoes or whatever, you know,
we just got a lot of things going on for the kids, but it's for the community. It's for the community, and like I said, it's at Bethel Park. And then another cool thing is, man, Mr. Jimmy McMillan. I met him at the Butter magazine, and he's been a blessing. They have donated some tickets to the races. To the Grand Prix races. So we're gonna I'm gonna give away tickets to kids in my program and stuff. So we got a lot of big, good things going on, man. Like I said, we're gonna have some testimonies there. We're gonna be able to hear some people that have been through the struggle and that have changed their lives. You know what I mean? And now setting an example.
Well, I want to go ahead. I want to clap it one more time here. Make sure, Tony, tell them one more time when and where to go ahead and see this event.
April 27th at Bethel Park. That's on the south side. It's 2850 Bethel Avenue. 2 to 6, April 27th, free sneaker event. It's for the community.
There we go.
Okay.
Let's
go.
Just clap it up one more time. That was good. Now we went a little bit long on the intro, but I wanted to make sure because this is very, very important information. I want people to know.
I was just so much to tell.
No, man. This is perfect. This is perfect. I want people to know and to be able to take advantage of this type of event. You know what I mean? Because you don't have brothers like this all the time that is putting out free. You kept saying free, 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 free. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like if you're in need, and make sure that you're in need. Like, I don't want to see anybody, out there try to get some Balenciaga shit or something like that just because you say it was free. But nah, man, if you're in need, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad we have brothers like Tony out here that is making a way, making an event for not only for people to go and get what they need, for people to actually come and contribute. Yeah. One more thing. If people want to volunteer as a part of your project or whatnot, what can they do? Where they need to go to reach out?
Always looking for volunteers because, like I said, I do something twice a week. We feed the homeless on Sundays. We give out free haircuts. So my Instagram is Tony McCracken, One Day at a Time Foundation. Just DM me. A lot of people think I'm crazy. My phone number is 317-506-1568. Call me, text me. Always looking for volunteers and even if you got community service, man, that's another thing, you know what I mean? But we're always looking for volunteers, and we're looking for guys especially guys that have changed their lives. And if you got some free time to talk to a kid, you never know what you might say and who it resonates
who you can change,
to, man. Yes. That's one thing I told somebody. If 200 people showed up, I'm not trying to sound corny or whatever, as long as 1 or 2 kids, you know what I mean, benefit from this, then we won. You know what I mean? We won.
Exactly.
And I just want to give a shout out though, because the community has came together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for about a year, and now the community started seeing. So I want to shout out to Napper Nut and Maxie, Lucky from Slum House, especially my partners. Cho and Fitz at Rappers vs. Trappers, and Cho played that Naptown shit. Because without them, I wouldn't have got the connections that I had and the extra help that I needed. You know what I mean?
Right.
To make the next step. And then BU Wellness. Carl Smith, they're helping me get my, legitimize me and make me, you know what I mean? And then one last thing I did want to say, we are, like I said, with the programs, because we're everywhere, but we're offering boxing, basketball, and barbering, and even the entrepreneuring shit, you know what I mean? So if you got a kid, you know what I mean, you need to get them off your hands this summer or whatever, send them my way, man. We got an entrepreneur program where my homeboy Ace got a landscaping business, and we're going to go door knocking. We're going to teach these kids how to make a sale. I've done the sales all my life. Like I said, I don't even have a GED, y'all, and I make a 6-figure job. Sales is one job that, you don't need none. You know what I mean? Right. You could do fine. And so that's why we want to offer that resource right there, man. And we start at a young age, they'll master it. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. I want to go ahead and let's say we're gonna clap. We keep clapping up, man, but you got good stuff, man. We're gonna go ahead and clap it up here, right? You know what I mean?